Just have a relationship with Kṛṣṇa. It's so easy. So nice. You just chant Kṛṣṇa's name and direct your affection towards Kṛṣṇa within your own heart. And Kṛṣṇa will respond. And you'll go, oh, this is very nice. You have to be pure. That's the thing. You have to be free from the different attachments and aversions and conditioning of this material world. Then you can do. But anybody can do that. Anybody, because we're all conscious living entities. We all have consciousness, or we all are consciousness. So we can direct that consciousness in any way that we want. But why not direct it in a way that brings unlimited eternal happiness? That's the purpose of this esoteric teaching. Let's see, did I forget anything? Yeah, so the Ganges River is very big. In some places I've seen the Ganges is over a mile wide. It's a huge river, deep. It's so deep that it has a special species of dolphins that live in it. Yeah, and they go in packs, you know, dolphins always go in a school. And so you can be out in the middle of the Ganges in a boat and all of a sudden be surrounded by dolphins. It's really cool. But during the rainy season, the Ganges becomes very swollen and flooded and becomes very muddy, and it flows very fast. And there may be all kinds of mud, foam, bubbles, you know. Even you may see like dead animals or dead bodies floating in the river. But that doesn't mean that the Ganges becomes contaminated. The Ganges never becomes contaminated. See, the British used to use only Ganges water in their ships. They would come to India and then take barrels and barrels and barrels of Ganges water. Why? Because it never goes bad. It never becomes infected with microorganisms. There's some sterilizing factor, unknown sterilizing factor in the Ganges water. Well, we know what it is. That the Ganges water emanates from the lotus feet of the Lord. So when this water comes in the material world, it's empowered by the purity of the Lord's lotus feet. Therefore, it never becomes stale. So this Ganges water is purifying actually the whole planet, the whole world. And if we bathe in that water, we also become purified. It doesn't matter. Even if it's muddy, even if it has sticks and stuff in it, doesn't matter. Even if it has fish and crocodiles and all kinds of stuff in it, it's still purifying. So similarly, the pure devotee, even though he may not be pure from a physical point of view, he may not be perfect from a material point of view, still, because of his spiritual consciousness, he's considered purifying. And to be in the association of a pure devotee is very purifying. It heals us spiritually. So everyone should try their best to get in association and stay in association. And then we can gradually heal them from this material disease, material consciousness. That's what we're doing. That's why we have these programs. So you please attend these programs regularly and you'll get the result. Just like when you bathe in the Ganges water regularly, then you get the result after some time. So, are there any questions?
This one.
There's. Mute the mic.
Okay.
You should just pass it over there after the kirtan, you know, as a standard thing.
Question from Mother Swati. Please accept my humble obeisances, Babaji. If an astrology reading subject have many Raj Yogas in their chart, what other yogas in the chart can indicate success in devotional service?
Well, of course, there's good old moksha karaka. That's always the first thing I look for when I do someone's chart, to see if they have astrological support for attaining liberation, moksha. And actually, a lot of the people who approach us do have that. A much higher percentage than appear in the general population. We did a calculation one time, and what was the result? It was about 1% or less. 5%?
Yeah, a little higher maybe.
Was it? 5%? That's 1 in 20. But we're getting more than half of the people who ask us for readings have the moksha karka in their chart. So that figures, that the Lord's inspiring them to come into our association. We look for that. We look for a strong 9th house, especially Jupiter in the 9th. I have Jupiter in the 9th. A lot of my students have Jupiter in the 9th. What's another one? Well, Arishtabhanga, Jupiter in the 9th gives you Arishtabhanga automatically, but Jupiter can also give Arishtabhanga in the 4th, 5th, 7th, or 10th house, or in the 1st house itself. That's actually a pretty common reading. About 1/3 of all charts have Arishtabhanga. But it helps, it really helps. And that's actually, I think one of the definitions of a pious person is that they have a strong Jupiter. But as far as devotional service itself is concerned, a strong Ketu is always good. Ketu in the, what did I see in the chart today? I think it was Rahu. Rahu is in the, oh yeah. Ketu is in the 9th, and Rahu is in the 6th. You know, so the Rahu-Ketu axis, if it's in the 6th and 9th house, this is very strong. Very good for developing spiritual consciousness. Also, we would want to see a Mercury that's not combust. Mercury should be at least 5 degrees from the sun, or better if it's 10 degrees or even more away from the sun. Because if Mercury is too close to the sun, then one's intelligence becomes overwhelmed by false ego. So, of course, this is not good. Generally speaking, let's see. Mercury is usually an average of about 7 or 8 degrees away from the sun, on average, or more. But the people because when the Mercury passes either behind or in front of the sun, it's usually moving very fast. So it spends comparatively less time within 5 degrees of the sun than it does outside. But still, you want to make sure that a person's Mercury is not combust. Actually, I don't see too many charts with a combust Mercury, because those people usually don't approach people like us. So similarly, Mars should be in a good position. If Mars is exalted, or at least in his own house, or a Mulikatrona house, if Mars is in an angle house, that's also good. Because a bad Mars can really make your life miserable and make it very hard for you to advance spiritually, because Mars always causes disturbance. And similarly, Saturn is funny, you know. I've seen people with really, really nasty Saturn position become very good devotees. I have a bad Saturn. I have Saturn in the 5th in Cancer, retrograde. But what it does is that Saturn, when you have a bad Saturn, oftentimes it will close off all avenues of material enjoyment. Saturn in the 12th, oh, you know, or Saturn in the 8th house. Oh, that's tough. But it closes off the possibility of material enjoyment, and then that pushes the person towards spiritual life. Because after all, if you can't get enjoyment from material life, you have to get it somewhere. So, you know, what are you going to do? What other source is there except spiritual life? So if a person has other good indications in their chart that permit them to contact devotees, then a bad Saturn is not always a disqualification. It can actually be good for the person in the long run. And also you want to see, generally speaking, you want to see that if a person has